I mean, for the record, today's going to be terrible.
No, it's going to suck.
Hello, and welcome to the first test recording of Shocking Gasp, a D&D podcast. I'm Scott the Dungeon Master, and joining me tonight we have Alex.
Whoop whoop!
Jake.
Holla.
Stephanie.
What's up?
And Steven.
Me and Stephanie really are two different people.
Yeah.
That's true. So I guess before we begin on this training session, let's go ahead and do a round table, and you guys are playing pre-made characters tonight, right?
Holla.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's introduce some of those characters. We'll go in the same order. Alex, who are you playing this evening?
I will be playing Corlag Netheridge. Corlag is a half-orc male wizard who believes instead of casting fireballs, he should cast punch you in the face.
That's not a common spell for wizards, I don't think.
Nope, but he's going to make it work. He is absolutely going to make it work. A few things. I became a sage because I was naturally curious. So I packed up and went to a university to learn more about the world. I'm a professor educating students on the art of battle magic. I teach people how to cast punch face, basically. It's going to work.
Professor Corlag.
Professor Corlag.
All right, so let's go to Jake.
I'm actually going to be playing Nancy Smith. She is a outlander. She's a bard. Loves nature. She's a human. Basically, she likes to live in nature, and she abandoned her lifestyle. And it wasn't because she had a bad life. It was just she didn't like living in the city. So now she focuses on living in nature, and she is famous for her ribald song, The Three Flambinis. So at some point tonight, I will probably come up with the actual words to Three Flambinis.
I would like that.
So we'll see how that goes. But that is Nancy Smith.
Nice to meet you, Nancy.
Yeah, welcome, Nancy.
Yes,
we
nice
got
to
next
meet you
Steve. Stephanie.
I'm playing Glint Stormchapel. She's a female hill dwarf fighter. She's a blacksmith raised by adopted parents. She was enslaved in the Underdark for 6 years. And she's a folk hero. She taught a group of peasants how to fight against a tyrant.
Okay, Steven, last but not least.
I am Dirk Lamoth. He is a dragonborn monk. He definitely has a little bit of an issue with his upbringing, which was kind of poor and downtrodden, and he's giving himself noble status to try to bring more power and influence into his family. He's really into being respected, but also treating others with dignity. He's got a little bit of a shame going on in his history where he's basically done and said things that brought shame on his family, and he's made at least one enemy, although it's probably not the only one. He knows it's his fault, which all caused him to go from his wild lifestyle and become a monk.
You guys find yourselves in the small town of Haven. It's a moderately sized town somewhere in some country that we'll define later. And I think Glint would probably be in, well, you know what? Let me ask you. Here's this small town. It's got all the amenities of a normal small town. Where would your characters be, and what would they be doing?
Glint would be at the bar, for sure.
I think Nancy's going to be outside of town, probably set up camp just outside of town, somewhere in the trees. Probably just near the town, just to kind of get some supplies and kind of refuel before she heads back out onto her adventure.
Dirk would most likely either be near a monastery or probably politicking his own family, bring up status, kind of marketing himself.
Corlag would probably be at the local higher education, if there's one inside his town. Maybe training with the local guards to get better at fighting all the time.
So you all are going about your day. Nancy, sitting outside of town, you think you hear some sort of ominous thunder coming from the west.
So do I recognize it as like normal thunder, or do I think of it as something unnatural?
You're not entirely sure. So to help set the scene a little more, so the small town is like in a little bit of basin. It's surrounded by some rolling hills, and stretching from the northern to the southern arc along the eastern band is just forest, tons and tons of forests. And then towards the western, there's like a small stream coming down from the north, and it runs through the town. That's where they get their water supply. And then under that, it's just like rolling hills with wild grass growing on it. The sky today is a clear blue with maybe a few smattering of clouds going around. So it definitely doesn't look like stormy type weather. So thunder seems out of place in this moment.
She'll probably, I would imagine Nancy's gonna maybe start trying to fortify some of her tent that she has built, because she's thinking that there might be a storm coming, but she's not sure why.
Okay. Dirk. So Dirk, you're strolling along through the town. You're not inside a building or anything. You're like walking off to go to the mayor's office, and you're going to try and hawk how important you are. You vaguely detect this same thunderous noise.
Well, I'm going to try to observe and see if it really is thunder, or what the weather and sky is looking like. If anybody else
Okay.
notices it.
Okay, and do me a favor and roll a perception check, please.
13.
13. Okay, so you look up to the side, and you look over towards that western bank, and you look, and you can't quite make out what it is, but it looks like there might be something along the crest of the closest hill.
Something like dark or cloud.
You can't tell. It's not. It wasn't there before, so it's not like it's a rock or something. But there's something there, and you're not sure what it is. But it doesn't appear to be moving right now.
So it's like a hard shape, not some in the sky. Can't tell.
Yeah, it's on the land. It's on the crest of the hill.
I'm going to make note of it. If I was going to the mayor's office to politic myself anyway, I think I would just continue on that and make note of what's going on that hill, so I can speak about it first.
Okay. Is that leave us? Corlag? Who's Corlag?
Corlag would be interested in a unexpected clap of thunder on a relatively sunny day.
Yeah.
Would likely go to possibly a library tower, and maybe climb up and take a look out on the horizon to see if anything can be seen.
I like it. So you go find a tower, and maybe up there too. Since it's a library and scholarly, there's probably a spy glass as well. So go ahead and roll your check, but do it with advantage. For those of you, the newer ones, advantage is you roll 2d20 and you take the best one. So if you are in a situation where you for sure have the upper leg on what you're about to do, I will say take advantage, and you get to roll 2d20 and take the best result. On the flip side of that, thank you. On the flip side of that, you can sometimes have disadvantage, which is when the situation is acting against you. And on that one, you roll 2d20 and you take the worst roll. Corlag, you said you got a 15 on your perception check?
Correct.
Yeah, so you look over and you look towards that hill and you see that same outshape, that outline that Dirk saw. And you can tell easily with your viewfinder that it is it's a man mounted, or a humanoid figure mounted on a horse, and they are in full battle dress. And as you're looking through the viewfinder, you see just more and more of them come up and crest on that hill. And as they come up and stop moving, you notice that thunder is dying down.
I would shout down, possibly out to the town square. Basically, it appears there's a small contingent, large contingent, if you will, of armed mounted men out on the horizon coming towards us. We should prepare the guard.
Okay. So there's probably some guardsmen or townsfolk or other some such standing around, and they look up at you and they kind of twist their face, like kind of skeptical, and they're like, "What?
Do it, you fools!"
I like it.
Do
I
I
guess-
hear him say that? Am I anywhere around where I would?
Roll a perception check to see if you hear this crazy wizard.
Natural 18 with the bonus 20.
Oh yeah, so for you for sure, you hear some old man yelling down at the wall at like some kid, and the kid's like, "What you talking about?"
Okay. In that case, I am going to sort of take off maybe in a jog or a run towards the mayor's house because I want to be the first one to tell him something's happening.
Okay, so you reach the mayor's house and you come busting in the door.
Busting the door. Is there anybody
Yeah,
in
why
there
not?
inside the door?
Just flying jump kick the door down.
Is the mayor himself in there, or is it a?
Yeah, the mayor will be in there.
Okay.
Yeah. He looks up and he's like, "What is the meaning of this?"
Sir, I don't have much time. My name is Dirk Lamoth. I'm a noble monk from. Forget that part.
You're that would-be noble trying to get everybody to think you're more important than you are. Well, I'll tell you right now, I want nothing to do with you.
Oh, sir, we could speak about this later. Please listen. There's it seems to be a contingent of battle-ready creatures up on the hill to the west.
What is this, some ruse?
Please just take a look outside. I'm here to warn you.
He purses his lips a little bit and he looks over at his aide and he motions, "Go with this fool and see if what he speaks is true, and if not, have him escorted out of the town." And the aide will come walking over and go with you outside.
I'll say, come quickly, and I'll quickly take him back to the square wherever the good vantage was, where we could see up on the hill.
Okay. And they go back and they look out and they see this horrible sight. At this point, they have started charging down the hill, and they're already coming towards the town, and that the noise of that thunder redoubles as they're in a full tilt heading towards the town of Haven. And whoever this person is, they stutter and stumble, and then they immediately go running off down the street, crying, "Guards, guards, to arms, to arms!" I will then jump us over to Glint. You are in your cups, deep in your cups in the tavern, and you hear from outside, "Guards, guards, to arms, to arms!" What do you do with that look?
I roll my eyes and assume that, or hope that it's nothing actually important, and order another drink. And if it gets more intense, maybe I'll do something about it. I'm here to
Nice.
enjoy myself now.
Can you roll
like it.
for double fisting beers or something? Can you roll for that?
It just happens. Glint is a seasoned professional.
Oh, it's a natural 20. Look at that.
Yeah, just chugging beers left and right. We're about to fight, huh? Better have another ale.
I'm assuming at this point Nancy's she's catching all this rolling thunder and it's a clear sky and she's trying to figure out what's going to happen, right?
Absolutely. Nancy, once they start charging down that hill, you notice immediately. You look over, you see them coming, and you are not directly in their path, but just off to the side.
Yeah, she's definitely, I would say Nancy's going to be walking towards, definitely closer to where they are now, but hiding behind some bushes waiting to see what happens.
Okay. Are you going to
Yep.
stay in your camp or anything, or what?
No, I mean, so they're coming down the hill towards my camp or just near my camp?
They won't directly charge over your camp, but you will probably be a couple hundred feet off to the side from the main charge.
Okay, then I'm stepping away from the camp, but trying to stay out of their line of sight.
Okay, roll a stealth check for me, please.
Ooh, that's not good. 8.
8, huh?
Yeah.
So as you go stepping off towards the side, you see in the lead is a very well-decorated rider. Maybe there's a tall, red plume sticking off from the top of his helmet. And he looks over and sees you, and then he kind of makes a motion, and 2 of the mounted riders break off, and they start heading towards your camp.
I will throw out, which I'm assuming this is going to cause me to roll initiative, but I'm going to throw out a nasty slur of words as vicious mockery as I insult them as they're running towards me. And what do they look like? I mean, what are these things that are running towards me?
They're humanoid figures. I say humanoid because they're in full armor dress, so you can't tell if this one's a half-orc or that one's an elf
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay, but they're not some shadowy,
No,
Okay.
no, they're not monstrous creatures. They're just standard armored unit guys coming towards you. So, what is it that you're shouting at them? What vagary insult?
I'm going to say, hey, nasty armored buggers, take this! I don't know, something like that.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I know. But it's really, the thing is that they're past. They were very small as children, and that's the insult that their grandmother called them, were buggers.
So
it's really deep. It's
you're
deep.
writing the backstory of the NPC to
Yeah,
fit
absolutely.
your very woefully pathetic vicious mockery insult. Is that it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's terrible. All right, so how many, so what is vicious mockery? Please describe that spell, because I don't even know what it does.
Fail.
So if the target can hear you, I'm assuming they're close enough to be able to hear me, they must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 2d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn. So because I'm level 5 now, I have 2d4. It is towards only one creature, and they have to be within 60 feet.
Okay. So you pretty much have to wait till they get right up on top of you.
Yeah. So I'll ready the action if but as soon as when they're within range of shouting distance, I'm gonna hurl that insult at them.
And they have to make a wisdom
Saving throw. Yeah.
Okay, I have a 7 on my saving.
Yeah, that's not gonna beat my spell save DC. It's 8 plus proficiency plus charisma, so that would be 16.
All right, so go ahead and roll the damage effect then.
So 2d4, 6, and I'll hurl it at the one on the left.
Okay. You shout out your insult. You bugger, get out of here! And he, you see him like shake a little in the saddle, but he doesn't seem to, to alter his stride at all. They keep charging down at you, thundering. Glint, sitting in the tavern, you're like, if it's a real thing, I'll pay attention. But go ahead and roll a perception check with disadvantage, only because you're hammered.
So I got a 9 and a 4, but I also have +4 to my perception. So if I take the lower one, is that an 8?
Yes, that's
Okay.
an 8.
Okay.
So you hear the thunder coming, but you're not able enough to pick out that it's a horde of mounted cavalry charging at the town, but you definitely hear that it's getting louder and it is unceasing. It's gone on way longer than thunder should.
I roll my eyes again. I pay the bartender and I grab my short sword and I stumble outside.
Okay. You go stumbling out there. I will allow you to make one more perception check.
So is Glint drunk enough that at this point they would just be always getting disadvantage on everything?
I don't know. How drunk is Glint?
I mean, I would say she's like me after 3 glasses.
So hammered. So shit faced is what you say.
My perception was 14.
14.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Between the towns, between the buildings in the town, you look and see, and you. I mean, you're a trained fighter. You've probably been in many more battles than you let on in your backstory, and you know a cavalry charge when you see one, and you know stuff is about to get very bad. Coupled with all that, though, I am going to say that is the end of your turn. And that's going to take us to the one mounted dude who is charging down onto Nancy. And so he's going to come riding up on you, and he's on his horse, and he's holding a mace in his hand, and he's going to try and attack you with the mace. He gets to make 2 attacks, and one is a 14 and the other is a 7.
14 hits.
14 hits. So he's riding on his horse and he comes charging up and he passes at you and he swings down with his sword and he hits you particularly well, or mace, and he deals 8 points of bludgeoning damage to you. And then he comes thunder riding off. After him is, unfortunately, the other guy who is charging at you, and he is pretty much going to do the same. And I got a 21 and a 12.
Both of those hit.
Both of them hit. Ooch. 10. You'll take 10 points as he rides past and he swings at you once and hits you on the face with the mace. And as he's riding past, he backhands and hits you on the back with the mace again. You feel a little shook up at this point.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. All right, Dirk, it's your turn.
All right. How close am I to all this action?
I would say they have just reached the town and they're moving. They're overwhelming the scantily defended city gates and they're moving into the town. If you wish, you can make a perception check to see if you notice a lone person being attacked out on a hill. Otherwise, you're in the town and you see him coming.
So the last thing I was seeing was the guy that was with me go running around calling for guards.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's warning bells going in the town and you see guards hastily trying to form a defensive line, but Haven is not a well-furnished town, and their guards are not the best trained in the world, and they're kind of doing terribly. You think you might be one of the most skilled people in this town when it comes.
My perception was an 8,
Okay, you don't see it.
but regardless, I'm going to move towards where I would best think that those baddies were going to approach the town.
Okay, so you probably go moving down the main thoroughfare of the town. You go through the town square, and you head towards the western gate, which is where they're coming from. And then you see several of these these mounted men come through and engage in combat with some town guardsmen.
How far away am I, you say?
I think, what's your speed? You get a faster speed for being a monk, right?
50.
50 feet. I think if you use your movement, and if you have a way to increase your speed or anything, you can get there. Otherwise, it'll take your whole round to move up to the action. I guess that was a veiled thing. I'll go.
So Step of the Wind, can use burn a key.
That's right.
Disengage or dash as a bonus.
Yes.
So I'll use dash.
Yeah. So the way 5th edition is structured, everybody gets a movement. So you always get to move every round, and then you can take an action or a bonus action, and a bonus. And what you could do is you could take dash as an action, and what dash does is it gives you another move. So since you can dash as a bonus action, you'll get there, and you still have your main action left, to where you can make an attack.
But I couldn't pull my quarterstaff if I haven't already. That would be the movement. Is that correct?
You draw a weapon as part of a move. They got rid of that stuff in 3rd edition.
Well, I do plan to take my quarterstaff, and whichever one's close to me, I'm going to attempt to trip their horse.
Okay. You run up there, spend your key point, and you're going to try and trip this dude. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
And 11.
Yeah, their armor class is 11, so you make it, you break it. I'm not having any armor on the horse. Roll damage against this horse.
Damage on the horse is 8.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it make an athletics check.
And of course,
Basically,
I have a question.
strength check to not fall down. What?
Just next to my quarterstaff, I've got parentheses a D8 plus 4. Is that a second strike if I had the moves?
Nope, that's if you wield your quarterstaff in 2 hands rather than 1 hand.
Ah, I see.
So instead of holding it like a 2-handed quarterstaff, if you brought it together in 1 hand and wielded it like a sword, it would deal a D8.
Gotcha.
So the horse did really bad on its athletics check, so it does stumble a little bit and go down, and it's going to unhorse that rider.
Sweet.
And that will be your turn. That takes us to Corlag.
I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
As my action, and then use my movement to go behind the tower and hopefully get out to the town square.
Okay, so you start moving your way towards the square.
Yes.
That guy's not going to go. Nancy.
So how far away are they from me now?
They're probably about 20 feet past you at this point. They're gonna circle around and come back at you.
Okay. So I do see them circling around.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to cast invisibility on myself. Anything that I wear is invisible, and it ends after I try to attack or cast a spell.
All right. Well done. Do you move anywhere after doing that?
I'll take probably 20 feet just in an off direction, probably towards my camp. And then that should be it.
Okay. That takes us to the guy who just got unhorsed. He's going to stand up and look around, and he sees Dirk standing right there. He draws his mace, and he comes walking over, and I'm going to swing at you twice with an 18 and a 7.
The 18 hits, the 7 misses, but when he stands up, does he get... am I close enough to him to take advantage of that?
No, the whole provoke an attack while standing up, they left that in 3rd edition. They got rid of that for 5th. So now what it does, it takes half your movement, but it doesn't provoke. He hits you for 4 points of bludgeoning damage. And he's like, "You bastard!" He threatens you a little bit. Glenn.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Okay. So.
Where last we met you, you came stumbling out of the tavern
Right,
and
right.
you looked over. Yeah.
And I saw what.
Yeah, and you see him spilling through the gate.
I guess I don't really know what's going on. I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they're attacking the town, but I assume it's for bad reasons. So I'm gonna help defend the town, and I've already got my short sword drawn. So I'm gonna.
Your short sword or your long sword?
I have my short sword actually.
Okay. So you run up to the nearest mounted guy, and this dude he's towering over a what looks to be a black dragonborn lying on the ground, and he's got his back turned to you.
Okay. 6 + 6, so 12.
12. That actually does hit this guy.
Awesome. And so then I do the damage one.
Yes.
6. So 11.
Holy shit! You max out the 6.
Yes.
Nice. Now, the one nice thing about you are a fighter, and you get an extra attack whenever you take the attack action. So you can attack twice per attack.
So roll again.
Yeah, not the damage, the attack roll.
Yeah. Oh, the attack.
Yeah. So you swung
gonna
once,
figure
you hit
this
him,
out.
and then you go to swing again.
12.
All right, that will hit.
And then 7.
Okay, so you swing at this guy, and you leave 2 big, thick red gashes in his back, and he's like, "Oh, if you used the longsword, I'd be really screwed up right now." But, oh man,
It's what it says.
I'd be a little better.
Oh, I read that wrong. It's for dueling. It said 2 + 2 damage when wielding melee weapon in one hand. I was like,
Yeah.
oh well, then I'll use that one. But that says it's only for dueling.
No,
that
so
wouldn't
for Glint, she carries a shield. So her left arm has a shield, or whichever is her offhand has a shield, and then in her right hand it's a melee weapon. So she'll almost always get that +2 bonus to any
Oh,
melee weapon.
do
that's
have
wielded.
a shield.
Yeah, and so the +2 bonus to damage is already accounted for in your character sheet.
Okay. Can I also have my shield out? I didn't
Yeah.
realize I had one.
Yeah, no, I assumed your shield was out.
Okay. Very cool.
So the 2 thugs get to go back to back. The ones who attacked Nancy out there, they turn around and they go looking, and they don't see anything. And they'll probably spend this round just like looking around, trying to figure out where Nancy went. Dirk, you're lying on the ground, and this dude, were you on the ground?
I wasn't on the ground. He was.
I don't know why I put you on the ground real quick, but sorry, you weren't on the ground.
He wanted
And
to take a
this-
nap.
Yeah, as this dude is engaging you, this little drunk-looking dwarf lady, like her hair's all disarrayed and bleary-eyed and whatever, and she just comes up and like stabs this dude twice in the back, and he looks pretty not good.
Well, I'm gonna. Since you called me a bastard, I'm gonna say I do not accept insults from one who is unhorsed so easily. Then
Oh, burn.
Got a sick burn.
I
That's so much better than Jake's vicious mockery.
Ye old burn. Then I'm gonna give him a good whack with the quarterstaff. I have extra
Okay.
attack, so I get another 2 attacks. Is that correct?
Do you have extra attack?
Yeah. You just
Oh
noticed
yeah,
it.
you do. You also get to attack twice per action.
18 and a 25.
Those both
So a 6 and 6. So 12.
12 damage. He's like especially grateful that someone didn't use a longsword earlier. But he's still standing.
Wow. All right.
Are we
Sorry for
attacking
making-
the same guy?
Yes.
Yes, you're
Oh,
attacking
okay.
the same guy.
Technically he's flanked, but is there still flank in 5?
No, technically there's not flanking 5. We house ruled it, but I think when we're doing Theater of the Mind, it's going to be too hard to say flanking and all that stuff. Nope, there's no flanking.
Boo.
You're both just teaming up on a dude. Corlag.
Team up.
Out into the courtyard. I'm assuming I can see that they've started to pour in.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Enlarge on myself. And
Okay.
become large.
Fully erect.
Yes. and
Like
start
Ant-Man.
and then
Okay.
start walking out into the middle of the courtyard and draw my quarterstaff.
Okay. You will see a guy nearby, and right as you look over, you see him come along, and he uses his mace, and he just dashes in the head of some civilian woman, and she drops like a sack of brick.
Okay.
If you have any sort of ranged attack, you can attack him. Otherwise, you can't reach him.
I already used my action on my spell.
Good point. I guess that makes you're done. Oh, that takes us to Nancy.
So are these 2 fools that are looking for me, are they within 20 feet of each other?
Probably not.
No, they're not.
No.
Okay.
Because when they hit you, they were riding side by side when they hit you, and then they both would have fanned out, one to the left, one to the right, to circle around and cross back.
Okay. I will look at the one that I didn't hit before. And is he within 90 feet of me? I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say, now you see me, you'll see me in your dreams, and I'm gonna cast sleep on him.
Ooh. Ooh.
So it's 5d8. So I'm gonna roll 5 of them.
Are you targeting the one you hit earlier or the other one?
No, the other one.
Okay.
So that's 12. That's 25, and that's 30. So does he have more than 30 hit points?
He does. That's why I pointedly asked if you targeted the guy you hit or not.
So that's why I said that I was targeting the guy that I hit before. So that the 30.
Did you
would
say
hit
that?
him.
Because I asked, are you hitting the guy? Are you targeting the guy you hit? And you said no.
No, I meant yes. That's what I
But you
meant.
Wow.
If only we had some sort of device to record what you just said after I very pointedly asked you a question that would be relevant.
No, see, so the problem is
Where would
Nancy
we
has a
find such
cold.
technology?
I have no idea. I have
Yeah?
no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have bought this really good mic, because then it would have been like Alex, and you wouldn't be able to hear me anyway. So it would have been.
Yeah,
Shame.
you just
Shame.
bullshit your way through it. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the
So-
peasants? What do the other guys in the group think about this exchange? Should I allow it?
Oh man, that's rough.
Man, he answered you pretty directly. It was a fairly
did.
direct question.
These guys, I was
It
not
was like-
expecting these guys to be so strong for our first encounter.
There was
Um,
zero hesitation when you said no. I'm attacking the other guy.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. I was like, okay, well, these guys aren't that strong, but apparently they are.
They're pretty
Uh,
beefy.
So you do know what you
Well,
said. You little snake.
Yeah.
Here's
I
the
do.
thing. I'm probably gonna screw something up at some point since I'm so new, so I feel like
Yeah.
I would allow it. Just to,
No, you
so
get
you guys
leeway. Jake
would be nice to me in the future.
Jake's played every week for 2 years and should know better. Jake, roll a percentile on a
No.
70.
No, I got this. So I'm gonna bonus action Bardic Inspiration and add a 1d8 to that.
Can
It's
I
a
don't think
bonus
that's
action.
how.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what. Not something you can add the D8 to for Bardic Inspiration. That's for like attack rolls and saving throws.
Well, it just says inspiration, so I assumed I could add it to any roll.
No,
Oh.
nice try, buddy. Roll a percentile. If you get a 75 or higher, I'll let you switch your target.
Oh, aptly, it's a 69.
Bummer.
So,
Bummer. So you burn your spell on that guy, and we're gonna
I do.
move on to.
so I'm gonna try to use my because now that I cast a spell, I'm not invisible anymore. So
Ooh, I didn't
With-
realize that.
yeah, so with my movement, I'm gonna run like however far away I was from that guy. I'm running in the opposite direction.
So they're between you and the town right now. So you're running away from town.
Yeah, then I would be
Okay.
into the nature.
Into the nature.
And in
Nature's
the meantime,
bosom
I'm
warm
looking up Bard to see what Bardic Inspiration can be used for.
I tell you
Attack,
what, it's,
saving throws, and checks. Like
yeah, it doesn't say your sleep spell roll. I can tell you that right now. This thug who just dashed in, the head of that civilian woman, he turns around and he sees a tremendously ginormous hat for it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm ballsy enough to attack that." And he's gonna come running over and try and hit you. Ooh, with a 13 and a 9.
13 hits. No, actually, no. 13 does not.
Oh, okay.
So no hits.
In that case, that's his turn. The thug that was standing, getting double teamed by Dirk and Glint. It's his turn
Double
now,
Tag
and
team.
he's like, "Good God!" And he just tries to break and run. He's not holding out for this fight, so he uses his action to do what's called a disengage. Normally, when you run away from a person you're fighting with, they get to attack you as you turn tail and run. But if you use the disengage action, that prevents that. So he's using his action to safely break away from your combat, and then he runs 30 feet down the road. And that'll take us to Glint.
Are there any more bad dudes near me?
Yeah, there's a lot of bad dudes near you.
I'd pick the nearest one and go after him.
Okay.
So Glint basically has like this drunk inhibition right now. It's just like I don't care who's around me. I'm just gonna attack them.
I'm just gonna punch them all.
So I did really bad. The alcohol must be getting to me. I had 7.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 1.
A 1.
Plus
I
a
knew-
Fumble!
I knew it. She fumbled. First fumble.
But so since I fumbled 1 attack, do I still get another attack?
You do still get your second attack.
So it's like me golfing, I just completely missed.
Yeah,
And then I got a 17 on this one.
that'll hit.
And it does 9 damage.
Okay. All right, thank you. The two mounted thugs that are chasing down Nancy. What'd you do last round? I can't remember.
I don't want to
Screwed
talk
up the
about
spell.
it.
Ran.
You screwed
Yeah, I
up the
don't wanna
spell,
talk
right?
about
Is
it.
that what
No.
happened?
It
No.
just happened.
So you're just running down a field from these two guys mounted on horseback, right?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, so they're obviously going to come chasing after you, and you're going to have 4 attacks coming at your back.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good God. I have a fumble.
Yeah.
I have a 12.
That hits.
I have a 21.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have a natural 20.
Oh, great. Come on, DM.
17.
Oh, dear God.
Ouch.
17 points of damage as Nancy gets blasted in the back.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, how many hit points does Nancy?
Right now,
Yeah.
2.
Oh, you should run away, son.
You think?
already was.
Run harder. Dirk.
When the lady got her head dashed in, did I see that?
Yeah. Wait, Dirk? No, probably not, because they're behind the library and you're on the main thoroughfare.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to take off after the guy who ran 30 feet.
You easily catch up to him.
Yes. Tell him I didn't give him permission to run away. And then whack him with my my quarterstaff.
Okay.
So an 11,
Yeah, that hits.
21.
I bet you're gonna. Well, you only had to hit him once. Yeah, he had 2 hit points left. So you. I didn't give you permission to run, and bonk! You hit him right on the back of his head, and he collapses to the ground. And within 20 feet is another bad guy, and I'll let you redeflect that second attack at them.
Okay. The second one was the smaller of the 2, so it was a 5.
All right. Roll a perception check.
12.
Okay. This battle has been going on for 18 seconds, but you can tell already this town is on the losing side.
18.
Yeah, every round is 6 seconds, and this is the 3rd round, so you can tell they're on the losing side. And I mean, you're doing good, but you don't know if you're doing good enough to turn the tide. Hi everyone, Scott the Dungeon Master here. This concludes our little trial recording, and we really hope you enjoyed it. When we set out to do this, we were really only trying to check our mic levels and pacing and see how we actually sounded on our first recording. We made these characters in a character generator I built in Fantasy Grounds mere minutes before we started, and this whole Attack Haven thing was made up off the top of my head. So this was unscripted, unplanned, but at the end of it, we thought it actually sounded pretty good, and we wanted to share it with you guys as a sort of teaser of what we're going to be producing. So because these characters are made up on the fly, and because this campaign was made up on the fly, this is spoiler-free. Nothing that happened here in any way is tied to what the actual campaign is going to be about. So easy listening through and through. This is just us trying to get a little practice. If you did like what you heard, then please give us a follow on Twitter. We are at Shocking Gasp DND. That's the letter N, not the ampersand. So yeah, get on there, give us a follow, shoot us some comments. Let us know if you liked what we're doing here. If you have any advice or anything, maybe you don't like the music run in the background, maybe you do. One way or the other, just let us know what your thoughts are, because we want to do everything we can to make this a great show for you, our listener. So again, follow us on Twitter, Shocking Gasp DND, and be sure to keep an eye out for our next episode and some content that we'll be releasing shortly. Other than that, we hope you have a fantastic day, and we thank you for listening.